Eric Prince is going to stick with us, but I want to bring Brendan Steinhauser in for the Alliance for Safe or Secure Artificial Intelligence. Brendan, I know you got to bounce, but just want your thoughts on the executive order. At least sets up a process, and they say it's not preemption. There's going to be a regulatory apparatus. You're in the middle of this fight. What say you about the EO? Your first take on it, and what is your guidance to this audience about how we get into this regulatory apparatus? Exactly what we need to make sure that we've got a safe and secure artificial intelligence, sir.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be back. I think that, look, everyone watching, we made a tremendous impact in this discussion and in this debate, and we need to keep fighting. It kind of reminds me of the Churchill speech before Parliament, where he talks about fighting on the beaches, fighting in the landing grounds and in the fields. We shall never surrender. And I think we are fighting for our future here with AI. We have to get this right. We have to win. And so we're going to continue that fight. We have to do it at the federal level. We have to be involved in those policy discussions in Congress. We have to continue to work with our state lawmakers and get governors and attorneys general to pass more laws in those states, to defend the laws on the books, and to basically tell the Department of Justice that if they sue the states will fight them in court. Look, I think President Trump wants to do the right thing here. I think he's trying to get this right. I just think that there have been some people in the White House like David Sachs and others who've been pushing this approach. So I still think there's a lot of work to be done. I don't think this is by any means over. This is an executive order that has limitations. The president cannot just overturn state laws. There's talks about carve-outs for kids' safety. I think we need to sort of, hold the administration to that, and we need to continue to work to protect our citizens from advanced AI.
So you're really saying now with the because they can't just go and overrule state laws, it's going to obviously go to court. You're actually telling the DeSantis of the world, hang tough until you get what you need for your state into this federal into some sort of federal regulatory apparatus, and or if that doesn't work, just continue to fight on.
Absolutely. I think governors like DeSantis in Florida, Governor Sanders in Arkansas, Governor Cox in Utah, and many others who've spoken out need to continue to keep up the fight. And they need to say, look, we want Congress to act. We want you guys to pass meaningful legislation on this. But until you do, and unless you do, we're going to continue this process. Because I think if this goes through the courts, I can't see the courts allowing much of the EO to continue or to be able to overturn these state laws. That's just not a constitutional thing. It's not something that a court is going to uphold, any federal court, and especially the courts that we have today and the makeup of those courts. So I think that states should continue to move forward. In some ways, they should call the bluff if the DOJ does, threaten to sue them, because I think that will fail. That being said, I also think governors and attorneys general need to put pressure on their members of Congress and say, look, if we're going to have a federal standard, then let's get it done. Let's get to work. Let's work together to protect kids, to work on how we prevent these massive job losses that are coming. Let's work on, ideas for preventing loss of control. If we see the rise of a super intelligence, I think we need Congress to act. And so the pressure is really on them. And I think the War Room Posse should be thinking about that today, thinking about getting prepared to move that conversation over to Congress.
No, this is why we see Scalise put out 105 days of work next year. They could work around the clock just on this. There's so many important things you got to work on. It's just stunning. Where do people go? I know you're trying to not just awaken people, you're trying to do it by educating them. Where do they go? Where do you send people to learn more about this? Not just your efforts, but overall this whole issue and how they can get smarter.
Yeah, our website is secureainow.org. We have a lot of resources there. But if people sign up to get our newsletter, we're pretty good about sending out information from other organizations and different studies that are out there. We do a lot in the media to highlight stories so that people can see what's happening. But honestly, the other thing I would encourage people to do is just read everything you can, read books on the topic, read articles on the topic, because it's moving very fast. There's a lot of coverage of this, and you really have to get as educated as possible as you can, so that you can really make those arguments to your friends, family, and neighbors. Because again, we have to get this right. There is no surrender. There is no losing here, not only for the American people, but this is an issue that affects all of us around the world. So the United States Congress and the president and the states have a big job to do.
Brendan, thank you very much. We'll send everybody over there right now. Thank you, sir.
Steve.